Hello again, this is Chris and Helen from the French Tech Journal at VivaTech this week. And of course, we're talking about corporates and startups, which is the centerpiece of VivaTech. And we have some great guests today to help us navigate this conversation and topic.
Hello everyone, my name is Florent Pélissier and I'm working for Microsoft as the Startup Partnership Director.
Hi everybody, I'm Julien Floch, Associate Partner at Wavestone, consultancy firm, and I'm in charge of everything about AI and Gen AI in the firm.
And hi everyone, I'm Quentin and Amaudry, the co-founder of Mendo, so representing the startups here. And we provide a training and adoption platform for generative AI to help companies make everyone use generative AI in the best way possible.
So just before speaking to you, we had a chance to talk to Julien, the director of the French Tech Mission. And as you know, getting corporates and startups together is a priority. Helen, do you want to sort of walk us through some of the questions we have?
Over the past few years, we've been hearing about lots of initiatives that the corporates are putting in place to better work with startups. So we're kind of seeing lots of incubators, accelerators being set up. There are corporate VC programs. And there was recently, just a couple of years back, the whole Je choisis la French Tech deal, which hundreds of corporates and scale-ups signed a deal saying that they were going to work more closely with startups. And we would actually like to know, is there really a strong collaboration between corporates and startups in France today? And what each of your companies is doing to make that the case?
I think that's not new. Since many years we have corporate and startups working together. But I would say before, I think startups were very little company chasing from data from market to test some things. And we still have that in the market today. We have many startups, I think Mendo is one of them, trying to find some clients to work with them, to try their product at scale and to be, let's say, front of real obstacles of the reality. So on the one end, we have this kind of startups. On the other end, as you say, we have a large scale-up, like Mistral, for instance, just to name them. And here we're talking about large partnership. We're talking about CMA, CGM, for instance, a very large, several millions partnership. Here it's not just to test, it's really to put this technology in the heart of the processes of the company and to go really further.
One of the core missions of Microsoft is to empower people to do more. And this applies a lot to the startup ecosystem. We love the French Tech, we are working closely with the French Tech, but we haven't waited the French Tech to support the startup ecosystem here in France. And since a long time now, Microsoft is providing either tech support, because we are a tech company offering tech product and Mendo knows it well, but we are also offering business support and access to the big customer enterprise since a lot of years now, and we are proud to say that we have supported more than 6,000 startups here in France. What we do right now is, there is this massive Gen AI wave that is coming and that we are already surfing it most of the time. And we have launched a dedicated program that is called the Gen AI Studio, happening in Stachel, but also in the region of France, where we want to select specific startups that want to go fast on Gen AI with the Microsoft support in order to integrate this technology into their solution to sell faster to their customer.
And yeah, I could go on for hours about that topic. Obviously, it's been now 4 years that we work in that ecosystem where it's slowly shifting from a startup to a scale-up. So that's been amazing. And I think that things have changed. Really, it's been a big difference between a few years before and now. And the main thing is it's easier to start proof of concepts with big companies. So they're more open. They have processes that are easier. You don't need to go on into due diligence for 6 months. They have created processes that makes it easier to work with them. So we're lucky to be working with companies such as PwC, such as MG, and big insurers that before then would be impossible for small companies to actually go on and work with them. Now that is impressing a lot of international investors, and that's amazing. It shows that the needle is moving. But the big issue is going from POC to an actual large contracts. And that's really where it's getting harder. And I think there's two sides of the coins. One side is on the startup's fault. Well, we have to be kind of rational, and we're not the best sellers in France. We have really good tech, but we don't have the best salespeople, and I think there's a lot of education to be made with founders and with the sales team on how you sell innovative solutions. It's really not the same way that you sell an innovative solution than you sell Microsoft Copilot. And the other thing is obviously on the company's side. They want to try a lot of things, and obviously it looks good on them, but they also need to have a really good idea on how they're going to scale it and how it's going to be impacting at a large scale if they were to succeed on that proof of concept. And for that, they need to have clear metrics, they need to have management and executive who can have the budget that are going to be involved, and they need to be clear on how they're going to scale that initiative. So we are solving a lot of issues. We still have a big road ahead of us, but I think the future is looking pretty good.
But do you think the future is easy for you? Because you're working, your Mendo is about helping corporates better to adapt and adopt Gen AI. Do you think it's as easy for other startups who are perhaps not in an area that's so much, can we say, in fashion? Is that fair?
Well, it's not easy for anyone, right? Creating a startup, no one is waiting for you. The world is moving if you're not, and you have to push and be extremely gritty all the time. I think grit is like the answer. And no, it's obviously hard. You have to adapt, you have to pivot, you have to fight. But if we compare now, relatively to before, we are at the best time possible to create a startup ever in France. So we have to be thankful. It's a fight. It's hard, but I encourage everyone to try it and fight for their startups.
And I think maybe this is where also some consultancy firm like Wavestone can help also, because our role is to source this kind of startup, to make some due diligence behind the clients, to choose some of them, and after to expose them to the market, so to the clients, when we see that this startup really in this niche market, for instance, or in this process, this use case can bring a lot to the company. I think this is also our role to make this partnership, but to put around the table corporate and startups, bringing our expertise on the global, let's say, first analysis.
Okay.
And maybe just, to go, give a bit more example. I went to New York recently, and we're slowly thinking about expanding there. And I went to talk to VCs to prepare for the next round of funding. And the feedback we got was, oh my God, what you're doing is amazing. Everyone needs to be educated about using generative AI. This is a great product. But how come you're not growing 8 times per year? And we're growing really well. Things are great, but we're nowhere to growing 8 times per year. And that shows that obviously our market is not as mature as it is there, but it's not just startups, right? It's everything. We're more risk averse. Companies are taking more time to adapt, and that is a whole mindset to be changed to an extent, and that's not going to change anytime soon,
If I can ask, when I talk to entrepreneurs in general, this has always been a dilemma that they feel often French corporates have been slower to adopt to the cloud and then SaaS, whatever the new trend is. Now we're talking about AI, Gen AI, happening very quickly. As you suggested, it's also evolving faster than anything I've experienced in 30 years. And so everyone's trying to figure out where's the value, how can it help me? How has that impacted corporates deciding to work with Gen AI? Is a lot of just experimenting like we do with all the consumer AI apps, or is it making them more hesitant because I don't know if Mistral or Photo Room or which model is going to work? If I make this big bet, go beyond the POC, am I going to go the wrong way and then I made a huge mistake?
I think there is 2 key topics. You mentioned that, Chris. We used to say that no, we live in a world of tech intensity. There is news about AI, about new products, etc. every day. It's super hard to digest that when you are a corporate, but also when you are a startup. And I think one of the mission of companies like Microsoft or Wavestone is also to provide guidance to this ecosystem of, okay, there is no thousand of LLM model on the market. Which one you should use? Is it better to build your own, etc., etc. That is super important because at the end, big corporates want seamless integration of startup solution with their existing infrastructure. So meaning that, instead, you mentioned Copilot, we are working with a lot of startups that are integrating their solution to the Microsoft Copilot in order to work seamlessly inside the enterprise existing infrastructure. The second one, I would say it's not related that much to the tech, but more in the mindset of evolving purchasing behavior. For instance, there is a lot of young startups that want directly to sell to a big enterprise customer or to the US market. But for that, they need to go through the purchasing department. It takes a long time. Now we see a lot of big enterprises adopting what we call the cloud marketplace, meaning that they have direct contracts, direct agreements with cloud providers such as Microsoft, and they use the marketplace of Microsoft to buy startup solution. This faster a lot the sales cycle, and instead of taking 6 months of going through the procurement, etc., you can access directly to a procurement of a big company. Tech intensity and cloud marketplace, I see these two items key in order to accelerate the startup penetration inside the big enterprise customer.
I think we just have a couple minutes left here. Any quick last words about what you're looking for this year, about AI, following up on those remarks?
Yeah. I'm expecting a lot about agentic AI this year. It's really a turning point today. If you are going into the stands, everybody is talking about agents. And I think it's really a key thing for tomorrow. Jensen Huang said the same this morning in the Dome during hours. So I really think we have really to bet on that. We have, on the one hand, to find the good use cases and to be sure that where we will put the money, it's here that we will have the money back in terms of ROI. But also explore the different categories of technologies we can rely on. You have the hyperscalers, you have platforms and framework, and also startups. I think you have not to put all the eggs in the same baskets and really to connect them thanks to protocol like the agent to agent, MCP, or every new technologies which is born day after day today, as you said. So yeah, I think agents, it's something really coming in.
The last word?
Yeah, I think what's going to be really interesting is to be looking at how we're rethinking the processes within the companies, right? And obviously agentic is the tool, but companies have to be thinking about where is the impact going to be found, as he said, and how do they find that impact? And how do they help everyone rethinking the way that they're working? And this is a bit of a less addressed topic, but I'm looking forward to talking to a few companies who are talking about it.
Okay, so we have today's just the first day of VivaTech. There are lots more to come. So thank you very much, guys, for coming to talk to Chris and I, and have a great VivaTech.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.